In South Dakota, blue and red don't mix. You're a coyote or a jackrabbit, but not both. That's been especially true on the football field, where the two sides have tried and failed to settle their differences for more than a century. Then, 9 years ago, it just stopped, leaving two passionate fan bases with no games, no bragging rights, and to some extent, no rivalry. One thing folks on both sides can agree on is that it's been far too long.
That's kind of been the foundation of what college sports and college athletics is all about. It's healthy, it's good, and I think it gets people interested and excited, and why would you not want to capitalize on that and have a good time with it?
There was a time where this was thought of as the only game for the whole year, and surely that week was a huge focus.
That's the way it'll be every time these two schools play. And tiddlywinks, football, basketball, softball, you name it. If you put on a blue and gold shirt and you put on a red and white shirt, let's fight.
The students, the faculties, the grandkids, everybody from young kids on up to the adults. They just love coming to this. I mean, if anybody's looking for a ticket, it's when we play USD. And I think it's just developed over the years.
The rivalry itself is a matter of perspective. Its value is personal, the memories unique.
I do remember one of the most vivid games is when Josh Ronick was a senior, Jamel White was a senior. Josh was our tailback, Jamel was their tailback, and the students at USD had numbers, big sign numbers, and they were holding up their yardage totals as it went. And so it was kind of like, in those days we didn't have the running total on the scoreboard, so they were doing it for us. And it was kind of whose tailback is better than the other one. And I'll say that Josh Ronick won that battle that day.
I'll share this with you. When I first came to the University of South Dakota, the guys in the dorm that became good friends of mine just happened to be from around Gregory, South Dakota, Burke, South Dakota, Winter, a bunch of these guys, and they were telling me, well, if you really, and I came here from Nebraska, and they said, well, if you really wanted to go to play football, why didn't you go to South Dakota State? And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, that's where the football team is. And this was in the 60s, and Ralph Ginn had been the longtime coach of South Dakota State, and they did have really a good run. But we just happened onto a new coach, Joe Salem of Sioux Falls, and we turned the tide big time. And fact is, I have a placard in my office that said, "We beat State 5 straight," which I played on my senior year. We defeated them, and then went in the Army for a while, and then I came back and started coaching, and we beat them again. But had we not lost a game my junior year, that would have been 8 straight.
The biggest game I remember is in 1985. USD was rated #1, and Jeff Tiefenthaler caught a touchdown pass in the end zone, and we ended up beating them. And it was a full house. It was like 16,250 people, and the place just went nuts. It was great.
That atmosphere is as difficult to duplicate as the rivalry itself. Both figure to intensify at Coughlin Alumni Stadium, site of the first Division I South Dakota Showdown.
And the state deserves it, and both institutions deserve it. So I'm glad that it's back, and we're going to have some real fun with it and excitement, and I can't think of a better way to finish the season off.
It's going to be a unique experience because it's going to be like a long-lost relative. You know, it's going to be like finding something you lost that you treasured. It's going to be a special feeling, and it's going to be special not just for the coaching staff or the players, probably more for a lot of fans that went to them year after year after year.
You can throw everything out the window when this game comes. It's just they're going to play really, really hard, and so I really don't think it makes much difference what the records are and who's in position to go to the playoffs and who's in position to win the championship. It's just who wants the most on that given day.
Midco Sports Magazine, State U, presented by Bechtold's Jewelry, Howard Wealth Management, Premier Bank Card, and SDSU University Relations, only on Midco Sports Network.